Welcome to the Star Wars Collectors Archive Podcast, Episode 121. It's the Book of Boba Fett, Winners and Losers. Which vintage Star Wars collectibles won, and which collectibles lost? This new TV series from the Star Wars people who make Star Wars movies and stuff. Who won? What, like, did Luke win, or Boba Fett, or 99, or the Rancor Keeper? Stay tuned to find out. Wampa Wampa.
Welcome to Kivecast 121.
That's right, Steve. It makes sense it's 121. We're going to be talking about the figure that made it the 21st figure. We're going to be talking about Boba Fett, and in particular, we're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard some people complain about the name. What do you think of the name, the Book of Boba Fett?
I mean, I think it's pretty much how I feel about the rest of the show in general. Like, it's great. I think it's fine. Yeah.
Wow! All right, right up front, we have Mr. Brightside, Mr. Prequel hater, and Book of Boba Fett lover.
Oh, you're gonna see. I think I'm a changed man.
Having kids will do that. I think having kids and getting wisdom. Now that you've had your sweet 16.
I'm like Boba, just getting soft.
That's
right. My old age.
No longer the edgelord. So we're recording. I am in my basement.
Right.
I got COVID from like a week and a half ago, and everyone's like, "Oh, Omicron, no big deal. 5 days in and out, no big deal, no big deal." I keep taking tests, and that stupid blue line keeps popping up again. So you may hear me drinking more water and having more cough drops than I usually have.
Right. Yeah. Oh. That's no fun at all, but hopefully, some Boba Fett discussion.
Yeah, I just gotta say,
a little bit.
If I didn't have the protection that the vaccine got me, I would have been in the hospital. I mean, it was miserable. Miserable. God. This is terrible. Anyways, those of you who haven't had it and are like, it's no big deal. Yeah, maybe it's no big deal. In which case, good luck. But it could be a big deal.
It can.
It sucks. That's what I gotta say. Somehow it's become a political debate, Steve. This is my bottom line. It sucks, okay? And there's no Canadian convoy, okay, or Dr. Fauci that's going to push me one way or another, Steve. It just sucks. So, that being said, I'm complaining, and I'm very lucky because I'm alive and not in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, with that depressing opening, let's talk about something which has been quite nice for me, which has been Star Wars, Steve.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I think that's probably where I'm coming from too. Is life is just chaos and anxiety all the time. So like, if I can look forward to some weird, goofy night of TV once a week, I was quite enjoying it. So
when I find myself in times of trouble, Baby Yoda calls to me. And I mean, a funny thing, and this has to do with what I consider to be the beginning of the golden age of Star Wars television. So my son and I, we both have asthma, and so when you have asthma, you do this thing called a nebulizer. So it's really necessary. We use this budesonide, and we put a mask on. And we, ever since Django was like a little kid, I've always compared it to Darth Vader to make it seem cooler, or General Grievous. And what he told me that I didn't know was that was how I introduced him to Star Wars. When he was, 3 or 2.
Right.
He has memories of, because it's pretty scary having a major asthma attack.
Yeah.
And so I would put on either like the pod racing sequence from episode 1, but mostly what I put on, Steve, is the 2D Clone Wars.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just saying that is some of the best Star Wars that has ever been made.
It really, yeah. It's funny you mentioned this because I feel like I think I gave that a rewatch. I don't know, maybe did it come on Disney Plus like after a lot of the other stuff? I feel like I watched it somewhat recently and was just like, oh my god, this is great. I totally forgot about this. I think that might have been the part of the change right there.
And I was trying to explain to him the excitement of it. That, I mean, I don't know if you remember, Steve, when it was coming out, but they'd come out like 3-minute segments every week on StarWars.goddamn.com. I mean, just the like
Yes.
Never has that website sounded older than trying to describe how they released that. But we've just gone through the entire series, and it's a nice moment, because he's 16, and it was a long time ago. But we're just sitting there, and when Mace Windu punches a super battle droid to death, that to me is right up there with "No, I Am Your Father" and anything from any of the 9 movies. Just Mace Windu punching. It is so
I can
awesome.
hear this. I can hear the sound of that. That's one of those things that'll just the sound of it will always stick with me too.
But anyways, we're 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about what this episode is. So we have done ever since Force Awakens. Steve and I come on after a major Star Wars new product has come on, and we have done our vintage winners and losers.
Yes.
So the conceit is this. If we have this, because if you collect comic books, right, like the second that a comic book character is announced in a movie, its value goes skyrocketing, right? But then if the movie isn't loved, it either like kind of goes flat or even dips. Like the Taskmaster was announced to be in the Black Widow movie, and it went up to the roof, but no one liked that movie, even though it was actually quite good, and it kind of cratered, right? So using that kind of logic with Star Wars vintage toys, which toys are helped by the movie or TV show, and which shows are hurt?
Yes.
And through this, you will also glean our opinion of the show and what we liked and didn't like. It's a really neat trick, and if you don't care about Star Wars toys, you're still going to enjoy this.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will. So I have a list, and then Steve just riffs. So
I riff off of your list, and that seems to work well. So I think we should stick with that pattern.
Okay, number 10 winner, Steve.
Okay.
Number 10. Number 10 winner, Steve.
Okay.
I'm going with the X-wing.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I'm going with the X-wing is because when it was flown by Grogu in the last... it's just spoilers for everything. Why even say it?
Yeah.
Go to hell. Like, when it was flown by Grogu, like, that just made it... there's something, like, profanely beautiful about that image and about how exciting it was to see the X-wing coming and not knowing who was there, and the idea that there would be a better answer than Luke. So that's my number 10 winner, Steve. It's kind of tough.
It's definitely, it was on my, I grouped these into just broader winners, losers, and not sure's, and that was in my list of winners, mainly because you get the sense that, oh god, you don't have to talk about this bizarre Luke anymore, and also Luke just didn't want to go back to Tatooine, period, which makes a lot of sense.
It was a moment of restraint in the show, which if there's anything the back half of the show had. Now it's funny because I like the show a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. I have problems with it just like everyone else does.
Sure. But
it is funny watching the fan reaction. We'll get into it.
Yes, we will.
The number 10 loser, and this is a controversial one, I'm saying is the Gomorian Guard.
Yeah. See, I had a feeling based off our conversation from The Mandalorian that these poor shirtless piggies, they're just not going to cut it with Skye.
It's just not enough like the figure. It's just...
Yeah.
I don't say this about anything, okay? Luke in Last Jedi, that's my Luke, okay?
Sure.
Han in the holiday special, that's my Han. R2-D2 under a cloth for 3 movies, that's my R2-D2. But those are not my Gomorian Guards. I have a very strong emotional attachment to the fat, sloppy weirdos. And I don't know who called them dad bod Gomorian Guards, but whoever did absolutely nailed it.
Yes, yeah, they did. I did love that. Who was it? The one who was running the bar offered if they wanted to get them washed. I like that detail. You want your Gomorians washed and fed, and then seeing one use a little comlink thing, that was just hilarious to me for whatever reason. But beyond that, they're just not quite right.
Have you ever seen Date Night with Steve Carell? And
yes.
Tina Fey? So my brother Amos always quotes this. So when they go to visit Tina Fey's ex-boyfriend, is played by Marky Mark, who's there without a shirt, and Steve Carell just goes, "All right, shirt him up. Let's head out and shirt him up." Every time I see the Gomorian Guards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 9. Number 9. Now, the number 9 winner and loser are quite connected. So once I tell you one, you'll be able to figure out the other.
All right.
The number 9 winner is R2-D2.
Okay.
I liked R2 in here. I thought he fit.
Yeah.
I think secretly, this is the most R2-D2 has had to do
in quite a while.
Like since episode 3. Because he was so non-present in the sequel trilogy. You know, he had the BB-8-ectomy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Steve? Did you not like him, or how did you feel?
No, I did. I think the way he was used, it wasn't just like, you know, when they showed up in Rogue One. That's the kind of thing where I just don't subscribe to that. But with R2, he has a place in this bizarrely constructed story, but he clearly has a place in it. So yeah, I'm fine with that. And
obviously, the number 9 loser is C-3PO. Now, the thing about C-3PO losing is when we think about like where is he, Steve?
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of an odd time for him, isn't it?
So this is after Jedi, right?
Yeah. So it's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Yeah, is he?
Why is he not with R2? Like, isn't it weird that R2's with Luke? And like, so is 3PO just chilling with Chewie and Han and Leia?
I guess so. That would be my assumption. Yeah, it
know,
seems like he'd be pretty miserable.
This is 2 live-action shows where they have not shoehorned in C-3PO, and the thing
I consider that a win.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'd rather have the lack than the shoehorning.
Now, my number 8 winners and losers. Well, we're going by. This is 10 minutes, Steve. We're gonna be done.
We're gonna.
Number 8.
We're gonna find some Sarlacc pit hole to jump into, and not ever come out.
Okay, so if the Sarlacc were a vintage collectible, Steve, would it have won or lost in this little affair? What do you think? Did
the battle at Sarlacc pit board game win or lose?
Damn it, Steve! I didn't think about that. I would have put that on here. That would have been cute. So then, why don't we decide, Steve? Does the Battle of the Sarlacc pit game win or lose this?
I think it has to come out on top as a winner. Yeah. Because all the components are there. Yeah.
Because I didn't necessarily like what they did with the Sarlacc pit.
No.
It was weird how much they messed up, because I understand that it wasn't canon that Boba Fett went flying out with his rocket pack on.
Right.
But in the name of all that is good and holy, how the hell do you not have... How do you have him punching through the dirt? Like, why, like... I know why. It's for the sake of verisimilitude, right? So it has to seem real. Let's hope I said that word right. It has to seem real.
Right. Yeah. I was fine with the restraint in that, and I would have been fine if that was it. They just don't show the Sarlacc again. But
yeah. But then going back and killing it. But that's where the thing is that a lot of things in this show they didn't do that were just stupid fun. And so people get mad at the show for doing stuff that's just not just stupid fun, you know, like Boba Fett being a relentless badass or whatever. Right. But then when it does stuff that's just for fun, people are also complaining about it.
Quite upset. Yes.
So dropping the best sound effect into the Sarlacc pit is like the coolest thing. Like that's just awesome.
That was satisfying. Yes.
Let's just do it. Everyone just shut up a little bit.
Yeah.
So my number 8. So then we're both determining then Sarlacc pit is a bonus winner.
Yes, bonus winner. Yeah.
Despite the fact that game caused me so much vexation as a kid.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a 4-way tie for winner number 8.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
And a 2-way tie for loser.
Okay.
It's about species, Steve.
Okay, I was wondering how this was going to break down.
The loser is KLAATU.
Oh, yes.
And KLAATU Skiff. Are there any KLAATUs in this movie?
I don't think so.
Which means the winners are GREEDO. Having the baby GREEDO was cool, you know?
Yep.
Walrus Mans. We had like the Walrus Mans leader. He was awesome.
Yep.
Even the BARADAs got to be like the...
kind of their own thing.
Chinatown
butchers.
And the NIKTO. Look at these guys go. The NIKTO were all over the place.
They said the word NIKTO so many times in the show. NIKTO speed bikers.
Exactly.
Like over and over again.
So, if you're trying, because this is the thing, right? You have to think like a vintage collector, right? So the way I try to think of it is I try to think of like a kid who sees Book of Boba Fett as his Star Wars, right? Because there's going to be kids who do that, right? So when they hit 35 and they have expendable income, dispensable income, and they say, oh, actually, I want to collect something from Book of Boba Fett. Like what's the coolest? Because that's what you do, right? Like, I don't know if you're watching Peacemaker. That's a pretty fun show. Not for your baby.
I haven't yet.
But when you see Peacemaker's on, you just go, okay, I'm going to look up what is the best Peacemaker thing that I can get on eBay. You look it up, and it's whatever, some Charlton comic from the 40s or whatever, $3,000. So, like, what is the thing that makes you go, oh, I want the best? And then you say you want the best NIKTO and BARADA. Very clearly winners. I think Walrus Man and GREEDO a little bit less.
Right.
But definitely KLAATU and KLAATU Skiff, there's a whole Tatooine ugly party, and they were not invited.
Yeah. I feel like they got used a little bit in the very first episode of The Mandalorian, which wasn't on Tatooine with those other NIKTO guys, but I think that's it. Like, the KLAATU, they're out.
And when they're considered to be a part of the KLAATU NIKTO BARADA trilogy,
Right. Yeah.
7.
Number 7 loser. It's going to be painful, so I'll tell you my number 7 winner. Okay. And that's the JAWAS.
7 is the winners of the JAWAS, you say? Yeah.
The JAWAS, they come to play. They are never bad. They are characterized better than I could have ever hoped for. Like, their playfulness, their menace, and then in this, adding in the idea of them being a lover to Amy Sedaris is just great. And then, like, just their characterization on this show was so out of left field, but so perfect.
Yeah.
And so I really, really appreciated the JAWAS. I really like what's happening to them. Not just having the skull on top of the sandcrawler, although that is cool.
It is, yeah.
I didn't include the sandcrawler anywhere in here. I don't think it. I guess maybe it was a winner because it's still considered cool, but it seems so distinct now without the helmet, without the skull.
Right. Yeah. All right.
So my number 7 loser is a tie.
Okay.
And it's for 2 figures, one that's very close to me and one that's very far from me, that they just got a little bit outshone, or just, it's CHEWBACCA and BOSSK. And it's because Black Chrysanthemum just rules so much.
He is pretty great, I have to say.
So many of the things that you love about CHEWBACCA, the savagery and the coolness is there, but he has a little added tinge of menace, a little tinge of malice.
Yeah.
And I put BOSSK on there too because, like, I feel like the GREEDOs, the other GREEDOs can be played by a GREEDO, but the other Trandoshans can't be played by a BOSSK figure.
Yeah, that's
does that make sense?
On. Yeah, it does. And I kind of, I don't know if you're gonna get to any of the other bounty hunters, but I kind of felt like, I'm not one that usually is like super excited about every little cameo, but I feel like story-wise, it might have been kind of fun to involve the rest of the gang in some fashion.
Right.
BOSSK included, because I know there's a relationship there that they've kind of built up through various media, and to have that not, maybe it'll happen someday, but I think in terms of this, if this is this one series, that's a sad loser.
Oh my, Steve, I hadn't even thought of that. Okay, another sidebar, Steve.
Okay, all right.
The other bounty hunters are definitely losers.
Because
when
I like them all in.
Money can buy us muscle. Yes, it can.
Yeah.
I even thought, like, oh, cool. How awesome would it be if they got Forlom, and if they want beef, and they can bring the Zuckuss.
Well, and they're actually, like, right now, I just casually, just for fun, read some of the new comics, and they're doing an awesome job, like, making that a story, and it's something I never really cared too much or thought about before, but seeing it that it's kind of a thing now, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't brought in some way. But I just...
Okay, in that case, I'm going to put a little note in here.
Okay.
BOSSK and other bounty hunters.
Okay.
So you can tell that my COVID brain is not as sharp as my normal brain because this list is fairly sloppy, but that's okay. Yeah, that's true. The other bounty hunters, there's a real, even just one of them, you know, even if there's just one who's brought back.
Oh man, how great would it have been with the Dengar and a crazy Cockney accent? Like that would have just been fantastic. But yeah. Oh well.
Okay, boy, I'm just looking at my notes, and this is just disturbing me. Having Chewbacca, BOSSK, and the other bounty hunters, they deserve to be in different categories, but it's okay. The thing about being like imprisoned in your basement for 2 weeks is you just learn to get perspective, you know?
Yes.
It's just you get your inner McConaughey comes out, you know? You just gotta look out for the M and the E. Okay.
Number 6.
Now, number 6 is also connected.
Okay.
You know, Slave 1 is a definite winner.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about whether or not we call it Slave 1 or Boba Fett's spaceship. That doesn't matter.
No.
That's a non-issue. It's the ship itself. It could have gotten Razor Crested, and it didn't. I thought they were going to do that for kind of punch, you know, but it's still his spaceship. It's still, if you love Boba Fett, those things go together. They cannot be separated. It's maybe, is it the most that any character is attached to a spaceship besides Han and Chewie and the Falcon?
I feel like it is at this point. I mean, it really did kind of...
the B-Wing pilot and the B-Wing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it did kind of get its own episode, which was fun, and they didn't... I feel like they could have gone even crazier with it, which, you know, blowing up the entire speederbike gang, that's great and all.
Yes.
But to consider that restraint, I think... That's where we're at. Like that was restraint, is having it just be that one episode where he takes out the gang, and then you don't really need to, you know, focus on it.
And it used the best of the prequels as well, with having the death charge, which is tied into the other loser, which is just all other OT ships. I mean, obviously not the X-wing, but the way that they made the Naboo fighter seem cool.
Yes.
It's kind of a seismic shift in collecting, I think.
Yeah.
Because people have been commenting how the Naboo speeder has gone up in value.
Yeah.
I mean, the Naboo fighter.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to make a sort of comic book reference, you know, like, I don't know why, Steve. I spend so much time on comic book boards, and I don't even collect comic books. But, like, there's a comic book called Ultimate Fallout 4 that was the first appearance of the other Spider-Man or whatever. Okay. And it sells for like 10 grand. And it was from like 2008. It's like something insane. Like there's like 30 or there's probably over 50 books that in top condition sell for well over $2,000 that have been out in the last 20 years. It's unbelievable to see kind of how modern collectibles that are made popular through movies, another iteration of it, just completely changes the view. So I could be wrong, but I'm going a little predictive here and thinking there's been enough time. Episode 1, if there's cool Episode 1 stuff, if a Darth Maul show comes out and it's really cool, maybe all those Darth Mauls that people have been holding. I mean, insane things, Steve, like Spider-Man #1, which is like the most produced comic book of all time, not the one from the 60s, but the one from the 90s. Like even that you can sell for like $100 if it's in good condition, and people were buying that, and that was the kind of comic where people were going, I'm going to put my kids through college. And it turns out if they graded them and kept them in good enough condition, maybe they could have. So we're in a weird zone right here, Steve.
It is a very strange time.
I'm actually a little bit far away from my water, and I'm planning on not editing this episode at all, Steve. So I'm going to go over and get my water carafe, but everyone's going to be okay with it because I got COVID and my throat hurts, and I'm doing this anyway. So,
get your melon, your black melon.
Yeah, black melon. What did you think of the black melon, Steve?
I don't know.
I thought that was one of the highlights of the show because that's.
So yeah, like you're talking about from the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the weird. Hey, if you didn't have to pee before, you have to now. It's like it's one of the like more creative things. The idea that you can dig into the sand and pull out something that has liquid. Yeah.
It reminded me of like truffle hunting pigs or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Did you know at one point when my life wasn't going so great, in my early 20s, I thought, well, if everything goes badly, I'm just going to go to France and get a truffle pig and live my life, wandering the French countryside looking for truffles.
Have you seen the Nicolas Cage truffle pig movie?
No.
It's called Pig. You should watch it. I think it seems like it'll have a very direct connection to your to your history. I'll recommend it right now. I think you'll like it. Pig.
So now we're getting to the top 5. We're getting to some interesting stuff.
Yes.
Number 5, golden rings.
My number 5 winner is a winner with a caveat. So let's start with my number 5 loser.
Okay.
Jabba the Hutt, Steve.
Okay.
Because all the Hutts took a hit. So I like Zero the Hutt. I like Zero the Hutt. Well, first of all, I watched Capote recently with my daughter, and that helped her to get through that movie. I mean, the movie is great if you've never seen it. But, Zero the Hutt from the Clone Wars
the connection there
was based on Truman Capote. But just how bad the Hutts were in this show. Like, they were cool and interesting.
Yeah.
But it was the weirdest lack of menace. Like, everyone's complaining about Boba Fett's lack of menace, but they're like, Huta Chuta, we're going to kill you. Actually, you know what? This is not... What are we doing here? Bro,
this is one of the...
Are we on Tatooine? Bro, what is up? We gotta get out of here. Oh, why are you even trying to take this place over? This place sucks. It was just very... And I was sort of expecting, like, at the very end to be like, oh, it was the Hutts all along.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's what they were... When they showed up the very next episode and then bailed, I'm like, oh, maybe that's not... that's not what's going to happen here. I feel like that's one of those things where maybe budget came into it, maybe some other technical issue. Who knows? I'll say I liked when they showed up at first, but then, it
was great when they showed up first. But,
but
seriously, they might as well have said, something is happening on my home planet. I have to go.
Right.
No, the Hutt twins died on the way to their spaceship. Like, it was so abrupt. And I think it just brought the entire Hutt brand down.
Yeah. Especially when you put in the context of the abrupt exit, it did.
Now, my number 5 winner could also be a loser. And I'm going to say that's Bib Fortuna.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steve? Winner or loser?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll say I loved the Major Domo character in this show. I guess some people don't. I thought he was hilarious. I guess it's because I've seen him in other things, and I'm just a fan of him as an actor. But
what else is he in?
He plays Selena's ex-husband in Veep. That's the main thing I remember him from. But he's been in other comedy stuff throughout the years. But that's the main thing I think of when I think about him. But just I don't know.
So there's multiple things. So, but if we just stick to Bib Fortuna
himself, Bib Fortuna, I don't know. I mean, the last episode, he was perfectly disposed of. I thought that was fantastic. But what that means for Bib Fortuna's long term, I don't know.
Well, just the there's a kind of scope to Bib Fortuna. And that he's sort of part of this legacy and who controls Tatooine. And I don't know. But, Steve, I have to say something about Star Wars. And you're not going to like it based on what you just said.
Okay.
We are running head first into complete and total Twi'lek fatigue.
Yeah.
I got bad news for you, Steve. Every time you see a Twi'lek on Star Wars, just for a second, pretend you're watching Star Trek and see if anything changes. They're becoming Ferengi. They're becoming Klingons or whatever.
Yeah.
like they are everywhere. I don't know. There's a trailer for a new Star Wars: The High Underpants game. I don't know what it is, and it's like and it's got the Darth Vader clone, but it's also got like 2 Twi'leks as the main thing, and it's just
okay.
It's the easiest way to just not have a human,
right?
But to have it be kind of alien and have it rooted in Star Wars, but not have it be ugly. But I just wish it would just all be human. Like, Dash Rendar is fine. We don't need Dash Rendar to have head tails. And it really feels Star Trek-y to me. And the head of the Sanctuary, what was her name?
Yes. She had a pretty funny name. Oh, what was it? It's not coming to me right now.
I have to look it up because I have a complicated reference that my son and I have been saying. Sanctuary Twi'lek.
Garza something? Garza?
Okay. Yes, Garza.
Okay.
Yeah, Sanctuary burned down. It's gone now. Garza's ass out. Works with her uncle. Okay. That's I Think You Should Leave reference. Have you watched I Think You Should Leave yet, Steve?
We have. Oh,
okay.
Man.
So Django and I discovered. So there's this whole thing where this guy has this weird non sequitur where he says, "Blue Dolphin burned down. It's gone now." Now I'm forgetting the guy's name and thinking Garza. Rob Ravani's ass out. Works with his brother now. And it's just this thing the way he says it. And so we've been just spending the whole week being like, Death Star 1's blown up. It's gone now. Darth Vader's ass out. He's spinning around in space. Anyways.
I like that.
But it's just, sorry. COVID. It's just, I think we're really running into Twi'lek fatigue. I gave the sequel trilogy grief for its repeated characters, but hey, why don't we throw in an Elo Asti? Just throw one in. I mean, they have the molds, right? I'm happy. Right. I'd be totally great seeing some sequel aliens in this series.
Yeah,
they don't have to be so slavish to make sure that's always and then
original trilogy or prequel. Yeah, I feel like there was maybe one in that weird. Was it the 5th episode with just the Mandalorian? I feel like there was one sequel alien that he kind of rides the elevator with awkwardly, and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks kind of familiar, but that's it, like really.
And it's another thing, but what Lucas does so well is that he makes sure every world makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's usually kind of like one world, So there's the Mustafar makes sense because it has lava and all the people who live there react to the lava, etc. There are two, because there's no other alien species besides for human that has as much variation as the Twi'lek. So it's confusing because if you watch Rebels and Clone Wars, they're just space French, right? They all have a French accent and they live like French people, and it's great. And you watch the original trilogy and they're all these pasty, nasty, razor-teethed schmucks. And then now they're just waiting for their turn at the holodeck. So, I mean, maybe it's just that the place where the Twi'leks are from is a varied, maybe they're just a super varied space race. But I don't know that. So that upsets me.
Okay. I'm sorry that upsets you. I hear where you're coming from. But yeah, it's definitely, there's one in every seemingly like major Star Wars project or property. There's always at least one.
Yeah. What was Ula's deal? I wonder. Like, do we just have to come up? There's just different kind. Like, is Bib Fortuna just like a hick?
He might be. Yeah.
Bib Fortuna is just some dumb hick, like that doesn't even like really speak English and just like speaks Huttese, and like all the other Twi'leks look at him, and he's just like,
Where you have the folks at the Sanctuary are quite luxurious and attractive and all that. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Now we get into the top 4 winners and losers. We have some big winners and not the biggest losers. My number 4 winner and loser are very connected. I think that 8D8 is a big winner and 99 is a big loser. Because you get the sense that they said, okay, We can't have both these characters really strongly featured.
Yeah, yeah.
But why don't we have 8D8 be like the most important robot in the entire show and have a character like 8D8 was so great because he wasn't just K2SO. He wasn't a sass talking robot like we just get everywhere. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't boring. He was just an interesting, like he added texture, and he did feel like he was bringing it over from the original trilogy into here, and it kind of made sense. Whereas EV-99 was just a sous chef, and he has a funny scene, but I can't imagine, like, again, thinking about the collectability, 8D8 is now, he was a major tertiary character in this show. And
he was, yeah. He will endure.
Was a cameo.
I think that's the right distinction, cameo versus, and central.
And that's like, that's a big difference. Steve, I just realized I forgot somebody.
Number 3.5.
Okay.
Sanctuary blew up. It's gone now. Max Rebo's ass out. Plays for his brother now. Do we consider Max Rebo to be a winner or a loser?
I guess I'd say winner just because he's not dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where like, oh, that's cool. He's there. It didn't, I know there are, loyal Max Rebo enthusiasts out there that are probably pretty stoked, but I did, I did like, the memes of him and his little piano flying away from the barge as it exploded, and like that spoke to me.
Well, I think this is another thing where Robot Chicken is definitely involved.
It is, totally.
Because Robot Chicken is so important to people. It's a lot of the reason that things have happened the way they've happened. And I'm certain that Max Rebo only survived because of Robot Chicken, because of the funny scene. Oh, man, I gotta get to the gig. So I forgot about Max Rebo. So we're going to put him, I don't know, he's the new number one. We'll say that later. But, like, he is now, he went from two different characters, the Max Rebo that was in Return of the Jedi to the Max Rebo that was in Robot Chicken. And now, in my mind, there's only ever been one, and it was the Robot Chicken Max Rebo. So now when I see him play in Return of the Jedi, I'm going to hear him with that voice because he survived. If he didn't survive, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, that's the thing that's great, too, about 88 is that now whenever I see him in Return of the Jedi, I'm just going to hear Matt Berry, like, torturing this poor Gonk droid. Like, I love that sense of this, where it's, when you go back and look at the stuff where they came from, it just gives you just a fun, expanded look at these kind of dumb, side characters that no one at that point really seemed to care about.
Do you know what's the biggest thing they missed out on having here, though, Steve? So we're going to have vintage winner and loser 3.5. So I'm just going to put that in here.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to have Rebo as a winner. The vintage loser is JAWAS. Because, what happened to him? Where is JAWAS?
Where's Droopy?
I'm
Where's
kidding.
Droopy
Obviously,
McCool?
I'm talking about Droopy, and obviously I'm talking about the other ones. But, like, did they not make it? Were they?
Yeah, they might have.
They weren't even on the Skiff.
I don't know. And now my memory is starting to be. I'm starting to question it. I definitely remember seeing Max jamming on his little piano, but was Droopy there? I'm almost positive Size Snoodles wasn't there, so she's probably fine somewhere else.
Oh, she's definitely fine because she was in. Well, no, Clone Wars was beforehand.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm assuming either Droopy blew up on the barge or has moved on to another gig. They had a falling out, but so he definitely lost.
Here in 4.5, as the heater goes on again, I apologize for the sound, everybody. Here, I'm going to add a couple more losers in this 4.5 section, this barge section.
Okay.
Salacious Crumb.
Yeah.
Do we know he's dead? I mean, a lot of people didn't. Bib Fortuna didn't die, right?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people made it off. They found those life skiffs. They got out of there.
So if you were on the skiff and you were not in the book of Boba Fett, you're a loser. I'm just going to say it. You are a loser. Everybody made it off the skiff. Lando, Leia, everybody. And, you know, if it's a good thing that Leia choked him out, because Jabba would have been just sliding across the desert like 1 second low. Like think about that explosion, that beautiful, you know, real effect explosion with the slow motion little pieces of balsa wood flying towards the camera. We can all see that, right? We all see that the spiraling wood flying at the camera.
Yes.
Now that we know that basically everybody inside was they were good. Just really, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. Not quite as devastating as presented.
So now that we're done with 4 point, I guess make that 3.5, not 4.5.
The real number 3, bud. It's right now.
Right.
I think we're gonna have to. They're gonna be kind of connected from time to time. Winner Rancor, absolute winner. I wanted to put Rancor higher, but my number 2 and number 1 I think are just so much more important. But the Rancor really got a time to shine. I really liked its characterization. I like that it's building on what they did in the Bad Batch. So, like, the Rancor has an odd history because it's just this awesome, amazing thing, right, that existed. And then, as time went on, it got a little bit humanized in the expanded universe, but then, like, the Force Unleashed had that entire planet of Rancors, and, like, that was pretty cool. But really, it's these last couple years and just how majestic it was and how it was still, again, menacing and cute at the same time. It had the greatest scene with Grogu where Grogu took a nap next to it. It got to be, like, the best good guy of the series and the best bad guy of the series, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Even though its introduction was clumsy as hell. Give us money. No. All right. Here's a monster.
Yeah. So bizarre. But well worth it.
Do I even have to tell you, Steve, what the number 3 loser is?
Oh, our poor Rancor Keeper.
Yes, it's the Rancor Keeper,
replaced
by Machete. He definitely didn't die.
Yeah, so, he was wallowing in his sorrows. You know, he was probably fine.
So is this dude on Monster.com or Indeed? You know, is Maliki just out there just like, honey, have you gotten a job yet? I'm still looking. There's currently no Rancors in this system, but if one shows up, I am sure I will get the job of Rancor Keeper. Awesome. There's a God damn it. Machete got the Rancor Keeper job.
Yeah.
How hard? Like, what a terrible one thing. Like, you know that joke? You know, you had one job. He had his one job. First of all, didn't work out. His Rancor died. And he just has nothing to do. So, like, of all the things that... Because so much of what Filoni and Favreau do is they take vintage action figures and they put them together and they have fun with them. And having Boba Fett riding a Rancor is super fun because we can do that with our toys now.
Yeah.
But the Rancor Keeper has no place.
No, he is... Yeah. Forsaken.
Absolutely forsaken. Is this water noise too intense over here?
I'm only... no, I think it's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm in the basement and just everything's exposed.
Yeah.
The craziest thing
I'm
is...
in our basement too, so there's probably going to be weird sounds on my end as well.
Well, I can't hear anything. So, like, my dogs just have really loud nails. And so yesterday, Bo woke me up in the middle of the night walking very slowly directly over my head, which he only ever does when he gets the hiccups and he starts eating Mariana's plants.
Oh, no.
So even though I'm in quarantine, I'm not allowed upstairs. I didn't want him to eat her plants. So I washed my hands, I put my mask on, I made sure not to touch anything. And he'd just taken a big old dump in the middle of the floor. So my sense of duty is there. So I now have to clean it up without touching anything else because I don't want to contaminate the surfaces. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's a rough situation.
Which is the reason that you're listening to this show, everybody. So, the number 2 winner and loser.
All right.
Number two, number two, Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with that, especially the first couple episodes. I have a caveat with that one. I don't know if
I do too. What's your caveat,
okay. Steve? That they had no participation in the finale. Based on this amazing kind of setup with Timothy Oliphant and the Mandalorian show, like that seemed like a clear win right there. And you know they made peace with the townsfolk and all that. Like that all seemed. I wondered that's where it becomes like a question of scale again. Like, is this just because it was just beyond the scale of this production or what? But no, those first couple episodes were just amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me, my caveat, is just go a little further. Like they already went so far with the Tusken Raider thing, but you know, there's a lot of complaining about the initial episodes because of the flashback format, which I sort of understand. But if they had just included, I don't know, the words 5 years later at any point, we'd all be like, oh, okay, cool. But, you know, like, I would have definitely liked an entire episode just with the Tuskens and him falling in love with the lady warrior.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, it was still, they totally humanized the Tuskens in a good way. The Tuskens did not lose their cool. You know, that's the big question is the humanizing of Boba Fett, who obviously has not appeared yet on this list. So, you know, he's appearing somewhere. The question is, you know, is the show losing cool because they're nice? But the Tuskens are they're terrible. They're terrible creatures, but they live by a code and they're wonderful at the same time. And it was really great. And if they made vintage banthas, boy, would they be on the list.
Oh my god. Yes. Yeah. Oh. Just so true.
Now, my number 2 loser is a mainstay of the number 1 winners in this whole thing that we've done. We've had like the 1920s Yankees of this little exercise that we do has been Luke Jedi. I think he loses.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying this knowing that when I saw it, I was happy, and my kids were happy, and Luke and Grogu, and it's the cutest thing ever, and it's the most wonderful thing ever. I really think it is a serious mistake, this de-aging thing.
Yes.
And it's not that it's not good.
No.
It's just that it's worse. So if they got an actor who is a good actor who kind of looks like Luke, we are set. I mean, just set me up, and I'll let everyone complain how he has red hair instead of blonde hair, and everyone will make the jokes about the figures and all that. Yeah. But because it worked, Luke Jedi loses. Because I think we're going to really lose out. I think now they're getting the wrong message, which is, oh, good, this worked. And
yes.
I think we need more stories with Luke, but Luke needs to be, you know... What if in 1989 they were like, good news, we can de-age Adam West. This is the greatest thing ever, you know?
Sorry, Michael Keaton.
Sorry. It's going to be Adam West forever. You're never going to have Christian Bale. You're never going to have the best Batman, which was Val Kilmer. Fight me on that if you want. We're never going to have, you know, Robert Pattinson. We're just, you know, like it doesn't work.
It speaks to a much larger underlying issue, and I've been, I mean, you know me, I have been yelling this from my from my tower for years now, like that you know, it's the whole Jeff Goldblum, you know, prophecy. Like, should you? Can you? You know, why? Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
For some reason, it's sort of like it feels like NFT logic. I don't really know how to describe it, but there's something about it that feels like
Yes.
Crypto Bro to the moon. Like there's something happening when you're watching the Super Bowl, and like every single person you see was great is selling out to crypto, and you know it's a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme and a Madoff scheme and a every kind of scheme it could possibly be. Like you know that we are heading for a major economic crash because of this garbage that is being filtered into us constantly and being sold to us. We know it's happening. We see it happening. We know this is happening with Luke and the de-aging, and we're never going to have another Iron Man. We're never going to have another Luke Skywalker.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with another Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, or just not. You know, like that's...
I want to throw one more thing to you, Steve.
Okay.
What TV show are we most excited about in Star Wars?
I mean, it seems like generally it's got to be Mandalorian, right? Or are you going to talk about Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Do you know why we're excited about Obi-Wan Kenobi, Steve? Because we love Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
According to Disney 2021 logic, they just could have de-aged Alec Guinness. They could have done that for episode 1. They could have had the bridge on the River Kwai, Alec Guinness, instead of Ewan McGregor. That's the world that you want. So for all of you who are out there clapping like dumb seals about how psyched you were that Luke looked like Luke and sounded-ish like Luke and it was just like Luke training, just remember, you just lost Ewan McGregor. Goodbye. You have de-aged Alec McGuinness for the rest of your life. Tell me you're happy. Tell me the warmth, and because it's a real thing. And these are the same people who are happy about all the practical effects in Force Awakens.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, man.
What is it? Do you hate the computers, or do you love the computers? Or do you just love the stuff that makes you think that you feel like you're 8 years old? Because it doesn't. What made you feel like 8 years old in the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian is the stuff that works, that's awesome, that's the action and the excitement and the passion. It's not seeing the thing that you remember seeing when you were 8.
Right.
You're an idiot. I'm sorry, but you are. You're an idiot if you think that the thing that makes you happy is seeing the guy that looks like the guy that looks like the guy when you were 8. That's not where the real emotions come from. It's fake.
Yeah.
It's surface level. It's a non-fungible token. And you deserve better. There's got to be 50 actors out there who could do a better job than robot Mark Hamill. And you just got to get used to it, and you got to give into it, and you just got to let go.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I can say other than what you've said, but I've come to the sad conclusion that this is what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. And whereas the end of The Mandalorian really kind of killed a lot of it for me.
Yeah.
This, I come into it and like, well, here we are. And like,
and so
I have
it's
to like,
come to this.
So it's come to this. Yeah. I mean, and if it's like, if it can, the only way I can try and get through it is if it is serving the story well enough. And I'm still not sure, at this point that it is. I feel like this is just another, it's a very Lucasfilm thing of using a show or an episode to really test and just see if some new technology is going to work. And then that's what they did at the end of the last one. Now they're doing it again here. And does it really last? I mean, I'm thinking of this Luke and also that giant Ronto ass that's in the front of the special edition. Right. It's like, here it is. It's right in your face. Look at this. This is what we're doing.
Well, let's take a couple counterpoints, right? Because Jar Jar worked.
Right.
Jar Jar was proof of concept that you can have mocap created characters that do something well.
Right.
Episode 2 was evidence that real sets actually matter and that you can't just do a Sky Captain of Tomorrow or whatever that, you can't just Sin City your way. Like, you actually do need real sets. You need a lot more real sets than George Lucas provided in Episode 2 and 3 for that matter, right? Yeah. So they're working through it. The problem is that the feedback they're getting is that it worked.
Right.
And it really, really didn't. And we need to be as passionate as I just was. And I wasn't as passionate. When it ended, I just said to the kids, oh, that was great. Wasn't that fun? And he was walking with Grogu. And wasn't that, I wasn't sitting there like folding my arms and screaming at the TV saying like, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was.
Yeah. It's more, what it continues to mean for the future, and that's kind of that's where I'm concerned. And you know, I don't know if this is going to be
actors matter, and the weird thing is that this is what Jar Jar showed, was that you can combine voice acting with animation to create a character. Now, we've already known that there can be great acting in animation, so it's not that far out. But the fact that Luke's voice wasn't even produced by a human being, but was produced by an AI machine, and that his
based
face...
on old recordings,
and that his face was a deep fake.
Yeah.
So it's all of this new non-fungible technology. It's all in the blockchain, Steve. And it really feels like people want to believe. That's the other thing, Steve. People wanted to love it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wanted to hate Jar Jar so bad, and they want to love this. But the lack of critical, the people were not critical about this. At least our Generation X cohort was not critical. They were just like, "This is great. I can't believe how well it worked out."
Right. Well, and then it's just this whole continued pitting it against an actual performance from Mark Hamill from a movie that no one will ever seem to get over and let go of. You know, it just continues that discourse, which is just like
everyone keeps comparing it to Last Jedi.
Such a bummer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Last Jedi was some of Luke's best probably his best acting. That's probably the best acting Mark Hamill has ever done, is in The Last Jedi. And he did it under protest, but I don't care. And they keep on comparing it to this. That this is what you want. This right here. And they think that's what they want. But it's a dead man's game. It's going to ensure that there is no future memory made.
As a tangential winner, I had Han Solo because they didn't do it. Like that. So I don't know. Maybe that's
true. That's a good
with
point.
Indiana Jones. You know, I'm sure that's coming. But I was so concerned. I mean, not really concerned, but I wouldn't have been shocked if they tried to pull something similar by bringing in a weird deep fake or de-aged Han Solo with this. And I was just quite relieved that didn't happen. But yeah, it's...
Look at the Solo movie. You know, with Aiden Ehrenreich, would that it were so simple. He's great. He's not doing a Harrison Ford impersonation. He's not exactly like Harrison Ford. The characterization's a little bit off. It's a little bit... But hey, Ewan McGregor is a little bit off of...
It's not... they're different people. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I think it's this strange voodoo with post-Return of the Jedi Luke that
don't use voodoo
doesn't...
as a... Steve, I'm not going to lie, do that.
Sorry. No, that's
right.
right.
It's an actual faith. It's not to be used as a goofy
You're right.
adjective. Yes?
You're right. Yeah, sorry. And you know what I'm trying to say is this strange energy around post Return of the Jedi Luke that doesn't seem to dissipate. And I think things like this, it just you know, it keeps it going. And then,
so this all feeds very well into my number one winner and loser, Steve.
Okay.
It's going to surprise nobody who knows the way I think and talk and structure things that there's only one person who is the number one winner who is also the number one loser.
Who could it be? Who's the number one most of all? Who could it be? Is it that guy with white teeth who's bald? Who could it be? Could it be the warrior we all love? Well, let's see. Let's see who it is. It's Boba Fett. You know it's Boba Fett. So shut up, Skye.
Right.
Of course, I'm talking about the book of Boba Fett. And this is why Boba Fett is a winner and he's a loser. He's a winner because I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's interesting. I think they did a great thing for this character, taking him in a completely different direction that I never associated him with. I never would have thought they would have done this. They basically Jake Lloyded Boba Fett. right? They took a character who was known for being cool and ruthless, and then they humanized him, and they put him on Tatooine and made him a slave, and sort of showed you like how Anakin became Anakin. But instead of how Boba Fett became Boba Fett, it's how Boba Fett became something better, became a hero of like humanity and solidarity and like living in a community versus living alone. Like they gave him an arc, and he fulfilled the arc, but he's the number one loser. Because the people who love Boba Fett, and I love Boba Fett, right? I mean, realistically, if Boba Fett weren't expensive, I would have probably focus collected on him because he was the coolest guy, right? So I'm not crapping on everybody who collects Boba Fett.
No.
But the love of Boba Fett is often superficial, and so he did lose the cool. Like this was the last Jedi of Boba Fett. And what people wanted was the last 5 minutes of Rogue One, right?
Right.
Like, they want Boba Fett.
There's the like kind of sadistic kind of fanaticism that was surrounding Boba Fett, and it still surrounds Darth Vader. That's what happens, I think, and the fact that wasn't that kind of wish fulfillment wasn't granted.
Right.
Where with Luke it clearly was. With Boba Fett, the fact that you can use the words wholesome and funny with Boba Fett now, I find that awesome. I really I care about him now.
What's amazing is that Lucas already started this.
He did.
He already started it when he made Daniel Logan into Boba Fett, which was literally doing exactly what he had done with Anakin. Right?
Yeah.
By the way, wouldn't it be better if instead of Jake Lloyd, they had a de-aged Sebastian Shaw? Just this little kid walking around on a body. Please, if somebody... Am I willing to give someone $1,000 if they do that? Maybe. Contact me. See if I'll do a contract. But that'd be really funny. But like, Lucas really did that. He just said, oh, you like this character?
Yeah.
Well, let's see childhood. Let's see innocence. And Boba Fett worked into his innocence, and he learned a lot, and he was like practicing basically like non-Western management techniques, and it was bizarre, and it was brave. Like it was brave having him be like, so you want to support me? No. Fair enough. Would you like some chut berries? Because how many crime boss stories have we seen where the guy's ruthless, and then the fight, and then the shooting, and then the back,
and then they get brought down, and
it was just none of that. It was a totally out of left field story, and what I think I like about the whole thing is that the whole thing was so out of left field. People were complaining about Boba Fett not being in 2 episodes, but you got it mixed up. Like Filoni and Favreau just explained something to you. This is one show. This is season 3 of Mandalorian. Like we're just telling a story, and where you put, it's like a beautiful mosaic, and then they put frames around parts of the mosaic, and you just sort of like, not a mosaic, but a fresco. Like a big mural. Right. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. It's a huge mural, and they keep putting frames over different parts and then moving the frames around. And everyone's getting upset because the frame moved over to the Mandalorian, and that's not how TV shows go. But hey, guess what, bub? That's how they go now. That just happened. You're watching The Sopranos, and then 2 of the episodes of The Sopranos are about Veep. And you're like, wait, what? We're follow... Okay. And then they go back. Like it's not just crossover and all that. It's just really telling a different style of story, and I really appreciate it. And I think it speaks to the bravery of the show. And when we talk about like the thing that The Last Jedi did, going back to it, is it did save Star Wars, because we couldn't have had 3 movies like Force Awakens. Not like you can't support. You cannot support nostalgia of that magnitude. Like you really did need to do something Lucasian with the second movie, and I think this did that, where people are thrown off. They didn't have their expectations met. It wasn't a super cool thing. Boba Fett wasn't who they wanted him to be. But instead he was something better. Which makes him a loser, Steve. Because people pay the Fett tax.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
For what he is no longer.
Yeah, they pay the Fett tax for what the Mandalorian is, at least for now.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the other thing too, like Tamora Morrison really did make Fett his own now. Whereas I think in the past, and it's not necessarily his fault, it's not Lucas's fault, but just the way that I feel like, at least from my memory, it doesn't seem like Jango Fett had all that much of a personality. Maybe I'll think differently if I go back and watch that now. But that, and then the overdubbing of Empire was really just kind of like, all right, you went in, read it once, and it just doesn't land. But here, I mean, he's fantastic. I mean, he's so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy for him. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's why he's the number one winner and loser. He's the loser
and,
because he did not meet the unrealistic and stupid expectations of Star Wars fanboys.
Yeah.
And he's the number one winner because he did not meet the stupid and superficial expectations of Star Wars fanboys.
Yeah. Who is going to pay the Fett tax in the future is probably my daughter. Like, she, for whatever reason, like, she loves Chewbacca. I mean, she's very in love with Chewbacca. But when I just had her watch some of this, I think I might have told you this, but first what happened, there was that documentary that came out ahead of the show.
Right.
And I think Tessa just put it on because she pointed at it and she was just trying to figure out something that she might find visually interesting. And she requested to watch that documentary every day for a week, which is just hilarious. And
someday she'll meet Pete Vilmer.
Exactly. I explain like, oh, hey, we know two of those people. And so then when the show comes out, I don't show her all of it, obviously, because it gets kind of nuts at times. But there's things where she identifies with Boba Fett, both with the helmet and then just as Tamora Morrison, she points and it's like Boba Fett. And it's great. Like,
she's two?
She's two. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's a funny story. For her birthday, I was trying to get her one of those Life Day Chewbacca plush dolls, and it just didn't. The order got canceled. So I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And they had this funny looking Boba Fett that's in the new style, kind of just plush doll, and I'm like, oh, let's see. She seems to be liking this, and like, oh my god, she is just obsessed with it. Like, it is just the funniest thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I think she is the future Fett taxpayer.
Well, that's a really good way to say it. That Fett really is strengthened by the Mandalorian, and he's strengthened by this, the value of vintage Fett collectibles. And now, Steve, you get to do the thing that I do, which is buy vintage Star Wars collectibles, quote, for your children.
Right.
Which I do. It's not for me, but it's very fun.
Yeah.
You know what I would like? You know what's my number one vintage Boba collectible? It's the Popey.
Oh.
Because you know how the Japanese particularly love helmeted figures and just that slick silver box. I wonder what those go for.
Oh, that's a good question. Probably more than we'd want to know.
Yeah.
But
I wish I had a Spider-Man comic book from 3 years ago I could pay for. Well, awesome, Steve. Well, that was good, right?
Yeah.
You had a bunch of other weird notes, so
no, not a bunch, just a couple. And I think I've done this every time too, because I'm always obsessed with new music in Star Wars shows, and
Thundercat was in here, so obviously that's the most important thing. of all the musical figures to be in a Star Wars show, I never would have predicted Thundercat, who's a great bass player who plays on jazz and punk and hip hop and everything. His album, I reviewed one of his albums a couple of years ago. Yeah, very interesting having him on there.
It is super interesting and super cool that kind of thing happens in Star Wars now. So yeah, that was great. One of the things that I discovered was, I'll say the theme song for this is It's incredible. It is so
is.
bizarre, but I love it, and so does Eleanor. She asked me to like play it in the car if we're driving to the preschool or whatever. She's like, Boba Fett song. I'm like, okay, but so I loved the song just as it is, and then I couldn't help but laugh when the final version is just the lyrics are just Fett, Boba Fett.
Yes.
It's great, so good.
That makes me so happy because, like the Kia, Kiaga, and everything, like that's fine. But it'd be, like part of me does wish it was like, hey, look out, there's Darth Maul. He's there, jump around.
Right. Yeah.
Here comes Darth Maul. Here comes Darth Maul. Here comes Darth Maul.
Yeah, totally. And so that's something that'll always make me smile. But
Emperor Palpatine. Can we do that with all the Star Wars songs?
Oh, you know what? That's a whole album right there. I think
it's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and the origin of this. So the composer is the Swedish guy Ludwig Göransson. There's this.
By the way, produced a couple of tracks on the Adele album. So
I heard about that.
He's having a hell of a year because that's like the only album that's sold any records in the last decade.
I feel like that's probably why he just stuck with the theme song for this one. I think his partner did most of the composing, but he wrote the theme. So this was apparently clearly inspired by this bizarre Swedish fantasy film from 1984 called Ronja Rovardaughter, which is Ronja the Robber's Daughter. And I sent you a clip of these Swedes just doing the chant, and it's right there. And I just love that it's tied to this very specific Swedish thing that came out the year he was born. That's where it's clearly where this came from. But I also, part of it is so much like the Burt Bacharach Butch and Sundance, like that, and I love that movie. So there's so many visual ties to that, but I just envision the silly chase scene with the mods, just having the Burt Bacharach blah blah blah, going on, and I think it might even work better.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. The music's great. I just had to give it some love there. But
wow, so 84, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the same year that Steve was born, of course, and my wife. So it's a special year.
I'm 1 year after. Close.
You're 85?
I'm 85. Yeah.
This whole time you've been lying to them?
No.
Wait, what month?
July.
Oh, okay. So for half the year, you listen to me, just my wife. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And as far as the mods go, the thing about Robert Rodriguez is I'm pretty sure he's never... I don't think he's... Has he ever been a good director?
He's been a very... I don't know.
He's very visible,
He's got his style, whether it works for you or not. A lot of his
remember
movies...
Desperado not being very good. From Dusk Till Dawn is bonkers, but I don't think it's very good.
Right.
I've seen all the Spy Kids movies. Like, I think the Spy Kids movies is him at his best because I think he's just an affable goofball. I think that's the truth. I don't think he's like a Hollywood auteur guy. I think he's a guy who's like using his position to make fun stuff. And like the Spy Kids movies are objectively like I think great because they do something that other movies don't do. Like they have that sense of fun and whimsy and
and they're very clearly influenced. I think he was. With George Lucas, that's right around the time of the prequels. I feel like I remember seeing things about him often visiting the sets of the prequels and having that relationship with George Lucas, and that all tracks completely.
The funny thing is, my kids had no idea who Robert Rodriguez was, and they didn't know that person was the guy who did Spy Kids. So after the first episode with the mods came out, they just go, "That was a lot like Spy Kids." I thought that was just really funny that like they were able to for them who grew up with Spy Kids, that was so immediately just this is Spy Kids. Right. Whereas I was just happy there's finally a Quadrophenia reference in Star Wars. I'm a big fan of the Who, so.
Yeah, no, I don't know. This was, I think, the perfect bizarre Star Wars thing that I think we needed at the right time. I enjoyed it. That's That's,
All right.
That's where we are.
I just put in my Ricola because my throat is starting to hurt. I just happened to look at my top 10 from season 2 of Mandalorian. So just to go through them for fun. R2D2, so 10 winner, R2D2, loser, C-3PO. 9 winner, Weequay. 9 loser, 99. So
Yes.
That's two shows in a row, EV99
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
Squidhead winner, Akbar, loser. Troop Transport winner, X-Wing Pilots, loser. Imperial Commander winner, Stormtrooper, loser. Kleb Zelok winner, Cantina Aliens, loser. Bib Fortuna winner, number 4. Lando, loser, number 4. Tusken Raider, number 3. Gomorian Guards, number 3, looks terrible. My God, I'm really on this whole thing with Gomorian Guards.
You are.
Number 2 winner, Boba Fett. Number 2 loser, Boba Fett. Wow. Isn't that funny? And then I say gives them what they want. Episode 7 lesson. Wow.
Yeah.
And then I had number 1 loser, Power Droid. And then number 1 winner, Luke Jedi. But then I put in parentheses, future loser.
There it is.
I believe we called it, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. God, that doesn't feel like it was a year ago, but it really was.
It was.
That's scary. Oh, geez. All right. Well, at least we've got a lot of new Star Wars shows to break down soon this year, which is
top 10 winners and losers of the Cassian Andor show. Oh Jesus.
That's
number 1 winner is I think I saw a probe droid at some point.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
But do I need to do the top 10 list that we just did? Do I need to do a summary of that or no?
If you want, you could just rattle them off. Sure.
Okay. Number 10, winner, X-Wing, loser, Gomorian Guard. 9, winner, R2D2, loser, C-3PO. Number 8, winner, NIKTO, BARADA, WALRUS Mans, GREEDOs, loser, KLAATUS. Number 7, this is the bad one, winner, JAWAS, loser, CHEWBACCA, BOSSK, and other bounty hunters. Number 6, winner, Slave 1. Number 6, loser, other ships. Number 5, winner, Bib Fortuna. Number 5, loser, JABBA. Number 4, winner, EV9. EV88. Wait, no, 88. Number 4, loser, EV99. Number 3, winner, Rancor. Loser, Rancor Keeper. 2, winner, Tusken Raider. 2, loser, Luke Jedi. 1, winner, Boba Fett. 1, loser, Boba Fett. 3.5, winner, Max Rebo. 3.5, loser, every other creature that was on the Jabba sailbarge that did make an appearance, including Jar Yowza, Sice Noodles, Droopy McCool, Slayer Scrum.
Yes. Yeah.
We have done it, Steve.
We've done it. Yeah.
All right. Well, then, in that case, I'm going to get to bed because I have to wake up early in the morning and teach my class on Zoom. All right.
Rest easy.
I will. All right. Wampa Wampa.
Adios.